Mr. Speaker, on October 7th, over 2,000 Hamas terrorists invaded Israel and brutally murdered over 1,400 people. The images from this gruesome attack will haunt us for eternity. The beheadings, families being burned alive, women who were raped and slaughtered, one of whom dragged through the streets of Gaza. I was in one of the kibbutzes right on the border of Gaza just last year, meeting with members of the community. I saw their daycare center and the children who were there. That very same kibbutz, Mr. Speaker, was overrun by 70 Hamas terrorists. Many of the residents whom I met were slaughtered, but most viciously the babies and the children I visited in the daycare center were slaughtered, shot to death, beheaded, and burned alive. And reports are that a pregnant woman was forced to watch as they cut her baby out of her womb, killing her child before they killed her. On December 7th, 1941, in response to the bombing at Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt said it was, quote, a date which will live in infamy. So too will October 7th, 2023. The United States must stand resolute and use every tool at our disposal to support our friend and ally, Israel. Israel has been pulled into a war with the Iran-backed terrorist Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, who have launched more than 8,000 rockets at Israel since this war started. We know that Iran has historically provided around $100 million a year in support to Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad and other Palestinian terrorist groups. Hamas also generates hundreds of millions of dollars every year from its secret international investment portfolio. These accounts help fund Hamas's terrorist infrastructure. They pay for its elaborate 500-mile tunnel network, 500 miles of tunnel, and for the rockets being fired into Israel. This bill takes aim at Iran's support for Hamas and makes it clear that banks cannot facilitate the toxic relationship between the largest state sponsor of terror and its proxies. Unfortunately, the media seems to have forgotten that for years Hamas has profited off of innocent people, prioritizing rocket production over supporting the basic needs of their own people, exacerbating suffering. I want to thank my colleague, Mr. Mast, who also served in the IDF with distinction, for introducing this important piece of legislation. We need every tool at our disposal to restrict Hamas and other Palestinian terrorists access to financing and hold the countries enabling them to account. So I urge my colleagues to join me in voting for this bill, and I reserve the balance.